do we have with us today?
We are blessed once again to have this young visionary. He is an old soul in a younger body. The thing I like about it is that he allows God to use him, and this was passed down from generation to generation from various grandmothers and great grandmothers who were faithful to God and service of God, and we're now seeing the fruits of their labor through prayer and through the impartation of what they put into this young man. And we're so excited to have him here. He's doing some great things, y'all. The one and only Pastor Jon DeCuir out of Pasadena, California. Welcome.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Cuzzo?
Hey.
We're glad to be
How
here.
you doing? We're gonna need, I know you got your morning sexy voice on, but we're gonna need you to project this morning.
You
So
can't. Did you can't? Could you hear me?
yeah,
Now we
All
yeah,
right.
can.
now we can
Yes,
Okay.
see you.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Uh, first of all, good morning to you, and
Good morning, Jesus.
um,
Good morning. Hallelujah.
we've been praying for you,
Yes.
because in the midst of everything that's going on
Hmm.
in the Altadena area, you are right in the midst of it all. I don't know that when you took over the pastorage of your church and you were appointed, that you served for many years, that you knew that this storm was coming. But I thank God that He prepared you to meet the needs of the people that are going through the storm. So let's just start right there and let's talk about what's going on in the Pasadena area and the things that you guys have experienced over the last few months.
Let me tell you, man. January 7th of this year was like a blur. But I can't really talk about January 7th without talking about Dr. LT, without talking about December 31st, New Year's Eve. Um, on New Year's Eve, I got up. Everybody comes to church usually to hear, quote unquote, "Thus saith the Lord." And I was in the back, and I was confused because the stuff that I was being given just didn't make any sense. And even my sister Tanya said afterwards, she was like, "Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you." She's like, we don't really know what you're talking about." Because I got up and I said, the Lord said, next year, apply for everything. Make sure you apply for everything. And then I also said, the Lord said, take care of the elders. And so it wasn't one of those things where people were shouting around the church or nothing like that. And to be honest with you, Dr. LT and Cuzzo, I left that service feeling real awkward.
Hmm.
And then January 7th came, and then everything made sense.
Wow.
Because we had about 90 of our members impacted, um, over 2,500 structures burned to the ground. The whole Altoona area burned to the ground. And the part that was crazy is Altadena was 50 to 60% over the age of 60 years old. Our elders owned that property,
Wow.
mostly owned that, right? And then apply for everything. All of a sudden, even up until this point right now, every single week we had 90 members that were displaced. We have 43 members that lost everything, that burnt. They left their houses with the clothes on their back, and that's it.
Wow.
And that's not including our whole community. So we're talking, you know, well over 1,000 people, thousands of people who lost everything. Primarily our Black and brown folks that lost everything. And so January 7th was a blur. The first 72 hours, the first 2 or 3 days, um, we spent all our time at the convention center, and they had everybody in there, man. They had our homeless community. They had the kind of like our rest homes where all of our elderly were. All of them were in the convention center.
Jesus.
You had the rich, the poor. The fire did not discriminate. Everybody was there. Everybody was in the convention center. So I spent the first couple days at the convention center trying to find people, just trying to make sure people were okay. Because I mean, literally, about 60% of our 70, almost 70% of our membership live in Altadena.
Hmm.
And so, you know, concerned about what's going to happen. And the first thing that we did was we created a call center. And that call center was going, 10 to 12 hours every day. Next thing you know, man, stuff started kind of flooding in and people's cars burned up and people didn't have transportation. I mean, it
Gee.
was all kinds of stuff happening. And we had to raise money. We were placing people. We were putting people in hotels. We were doing all that stuff. And so, like literally to date, we have given 30 cars and we have given over $1 million cash to people directly because some of the foundations and some of the governmental entities were just not moving fast enough. They just weren't. Um, and so we just came together as a church and said, let's just do something. And so that's what we did. So that's kind of where it all started in terms of, I mean, and if you were to ask me if our church in 2 months could do $1 million, I would have told you, man, I don't know how that's gonna happen, but it happened. I have literally seen the two fish and the five loaves like in person. I've literally seen it.
Yeah. One of the things, Pastor, a lot of people don't know that Altadena was like Black Hollywood because when they wouldn't allow our black stars to live in Hollywood and in all those major areas, Altadena was the place that they would go. So the many celebrities and many affluent people
Yep.
were in Altadena. Um, I really know that God has called you for this season because um, I know you to be a committed person, but I know that this had to be a major strain and stress on your body because you don't stop. And I could imagine that there were several days that you didn't sleep because you knew that there was a call that you had to meet. How are you balancing your health and the health of your team? Because when you go, your team goes. So how
Yeah.
have you been balancing the mental health, the physical health, so that you guys can still be strong to serve the people?
Yeah. It's funny, you know, Dr. LT, I know how to answer that question. But to be honest, probably not well.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I mean, even up until this point, y'all know Miss G. So, I mean, Angel, my sister, Pastor Tanya, like we have been going. And so one of the things that came about a week and a half ago, I was preaching and the Lord didn't demanded a Sabbath and like, at least 5 hours is what I told some folks. And so that, when you preaching and you say stuff, you got to do it yourself.
Hmm.
So the only thing that we've been doing is like, trying to take at least a day. So usually Monday I don't do anything.
Hmm.
Um, I try to just rest on Mondays. But the first month, we were all cylinders go, and it was very tough to manage. And we had to. It's funny, we learned, man, so much. Sometimes we pray for stuff um, that we're not prepared to receive, and we were praying for resource for people and all that kind of stuff. But then we understand that we had to have a fiscal sponsor. We had to get a fiscal sponsor so that we can actually get some support to help us with the structure so that we can receive what God was doing and in terms of helping people. So that also was two things we had to do. We had to take a day. We had to all commit to a day. And then number two, we had to get a fiscal sponsor. So now I don't have to go to every single meeting, every single whatever. I got a fiscal sponsor that covers some of those meetings, and that brought a whole team with them, so that we can manage some of the stuff that's been happening, because there's no way that we could have kept the pace that we were going.
Amen.
And you end up being like a major, what's the word? I wouldn't say player, but a major
Influencer.
influencer for this whole movement of Eden fires. how how did how did all this just come your way? Because you're getting international attention now. People are doing stories on you, NAACP Image Awards and stuff. Let's talk about that because this is not anything that you planned.
Um, no. Um, I had not, I had no inkling, no idea. And like I said, the first 3 days, the first thing that happened, Earl, was that when I prayed the first 3 days of the fire, what the Lord said to me was fiscal management, is what he said, right? And so I didn't know exactly what that meant.
Hmm.
So I called some friends of mine. I said, hey, I was praying and the Lord said fiscal management. Can you help me process what that means? And that's where the call center came from. Now, little did we know what we did. So if you can imagine 10 people in a room calling folks, and then not just calling folks, taking down notes of what the person said. So you call into the call center, Earl, and then you say, hey, I don't have a place to stay. That person then says, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to find you a place. That person finds the hotel, goes and tells the finance team. Finance team pays for that hotel. That call person calls that person back. We then tell them where to go, and they go in and get that spot, right? So that's kind of one way we were operating. So imagine we started with zero. Now we have over 1,000 people on a database. We
Jeez.
didn't know, we didn't know that data was king. We had no idea. So then what happened was all of the major players needed real data, not the fake data.
Right.
They needed real names. So all of a sudden, the Lord sent a girl to our church that was already, when she was 14 years old, I made her play cello in like a one of the Christmas experiences when she was 14,
Hmm.
just because I was trying to encourage her. She's now an adult in her 30s. And she came back to the church. She said, Pastor, I want to come back. She said, you don't remember this. You told me I can do anything, but I put my mind to it. And she ended up working for Obama, and her area was data.
Wow.
So she came to the church, Earl, and was
Jeez.
like, hey, the Lord told me to help. And she pulled together our database. And when she pulled it together, everybody started calling for it. Then we were doing so much stuff in terms of resource helping people. Andrew Day volunteered for 2 weeks, um, every day, like a regular person.
Wow.
Like she was there giving away clothes and water and all the stuff. So then Jennifer Hudson called her, said, "Can you come on the show and talk about the fires?" She said, "Yeah, I'm bringing my pastor though." So then I end up on the Jennifer Hudson show just by happenstance, and then Jennifer wanted her to do Rise Up, so then I had to play it.
Wow.
So then Jennifer was like, "Hey, your pastor's here." So then, Andrew was like, "Yeah, I go to Victory Bible Church and blah 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 blah." Like, no, I didn't anticipate that. Then, the national NAACP, uh, uh, Dr. Derek, he comes to town. He calls and he says, "Man, I want to meet." Next thing you know, they're using the church. Next thing you know, one thing leads to another. Blah 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 blah. Then we at the Image Awards. They use our story. They play a video during the. It was. I was sitting there myself like, this is crazy. I mean, they did
Wow.
a whole benefit concert at the Image Awards with Adam Blackstone and all the people, and I was just sitting back like, Lord, what is happening?
Hmm.
Then, one thing, then Dr. Jamal Bryant called me. Then, of course, Bishop Morton called me. Bishop Joseph Walker called me. They all just started rallying behind. Torrey Roberts um, drove up on me to the church just to make sure that we were okay. Um, it's almost like the church became the center of what was happening, and it had nothing to do. Man, let me tell you something, Earl. God put me in a position I believe to receive and made sure it didn't make sense because it maintains a very high level of humility. Because I really can't tell you why. All I can say is like our mama used to say, our grandma used to say, but God. That's all I can say.
Well,
Wow.
I'm gonna jump in because everybody called and I guess they got a return phone call. I called
Here you go.
Where was it? I called him.
Here you
I
go.
didn't hear back from him. But here's the funny thing is, and I'm gonna tease you, Pastor. Um, and when the shoe was on the other foot, you called me, and then I was slow to get back to you. The one thing that I love about Pastor John is that we're really family. You know, he know if he call and say we got to drop everything, we just roll out. We don't ask no questions.
Yes, that's a
Everything,
fact.
and we don't get sensitive with if he called me and I don't get back to him or right away or vice versa. But if he put that clarion call out and he say I need, or I call him and put it in the T, I need, then it's quick. It's quick. And what I love about you as a man of God, you have all these accolades and all these celebrities and all these people around you. But if people just saw you and watch you operate, they were like, "Oh, that's just John." You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah.
But when they actually do life with you, it's like, "Oh my God, look at what God is doing." And I'm a big thing about family. And when I see your sister and Miss G and all of them, they rally.
Yeah.
It's just like the one thing about it is I tell folks all the time, there's folks that you don't want to go up against because you don't know where the heat gonna come from. You know, Pastor John is one of those folks that, because I could imagine folks came and said, "Well, why Pastor John's church getting everything else?" And before Pastor John didn't even have to, he was like Jesus when they said that we found the woman in the very act.
Right.
Pastor John is like that. He don't even look up. He be
Just
writing in the
write something
sand.
down the sand and walk away.
Right, just saying, not saying anything.
Drop the mic.
But wait a minute. But Miss G, Tana's like, well, let me tell you why. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about it is, God prepared you all for this season, and that is the most amazing thing. Andra Day is from San Diego, but
Yeah.
what I love is she say, "That's my pastor."
Yes.
No matter,
Yeah.
she's been all over the world,
Yeah.
but I love the fact she got a pastor,
Covering.
a covering,
Covering.
in a church home, and she is a part of the ministry, not visiting the ministry. And oh my
100%.
God, that just blesses me. So I had to say that, you know, 'cause I have to bring a little light because Pastor, I started laughing when your cousin was telling me about the Trump person that came, said, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
And started blessing.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about some of the folks that came in that you was like,
Yeah. We had one guy come that was like literally just he was he just came off the street. Didn't even know where he came from, to be honest with you. And he comes in and he goes, "Hey, the Lord told me to come and help you. So I've been watching you,
Wow.
right?" And I go, "Okay, like what do you want? Like what do you want to do?" He said, "How many people in your church? How many people's houses burned down?" I said 43. Do you think you can get them all here by tomorrow? I said, "I mean, it's kind of short notice." He says, "I'm going to give each one of them $6,000. You think you can get each one of them here by tomorrow?" I said, "I think I can."
if not, I have some replacements that could come in.
Right. No.
and he sat there and he wrote every single person a $6,000 check, every single person.
Wow.
So with him, he was the one that helped us get the first set of cars. So he did that, and we bought 15 cars. He bought us 15 cars to give away,
Brand new
and
cars?
like they were low mileage, like 30,000 miles, 15,000 miles.
That's brand new.
Yeah, brand new cars.
Yeah.
So we gave away. I mean, people were man. It was, when I tell you it was pandemonium in our church. Like people literally like were getting cars and people were coming in, man, crying. They were on the floor. I mean, it was a lot, man. I mean, I watched this one man gave about $500,000 just through our church by himself.
Wow.
But he was sent. He was sent by God.
Sent.
Yeah.
He was sent.
And one of the things about it is, and tell your son I said good morning. I can see them in reflections. I'm like
Right.
saying,
No, they saying hello because they can see you in the mirror. I'm on the God radio.
um, the thing that what is a testament to your leadership, Pastor, is
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they trusted that every resource that was given to you was
Come on.
going to the people, and I think
Yeah,
that that's what's so amazing
Mm-hmm.
is that when you position yourself, this was not this was not a happenstance. Whereas you just popped up and say, "Hey, we got a church. You
Right.
come over
yeah,
here," but this has been service for years
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah,
everything, but they've been seeing the works of the church for years, and because they've seen the works of the church, you became that trusted messenger,
yeah,
and they knew that what was going in was going to be going straight out to the people,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there was not no well, I'm going to take a tenth of this for the church and everything else that nature. So let me ask you this question: you were bombarded
Bombarded.
Yeah.
with everything. How did the church handle the financial needs of just keeping your lights on and the gas going in? You can't do this without feeding folk.
Right.
So how did you all because this was an unexpected expense? How did you
Yeah.
guys navigate this unexpected expense and still do it at the level?
That's a good question. We still are managing, man. But I'm gonna tell you what the Lord did. Last year in October, November, I went to Propel. That's Full Gospel. That's Bishop Oliver. Full Gospel, second presiding bishop, and I went there to shadow him on a Sunday morning, and literally with that shadowing, um, I literally was able to like see him do what he did. He had, 5 services, mega church, whatever. Time goes on, this fire happens. He calls me and he goes, "Hey man, I'm calling you, man, because I want to make sure you're okay." He goes, "What's happening there?" And I told him. He said, "Man, how are you guys going to survive?" He said, "Because the homeowners actually is the reason that your church is surviving, because usually homeowners, they tithe.
Correct.
So if they don't have no house, then that means they got to figure out what they're going to do financially."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "So that means that your church is going to have a shortfall every single month. How are you going to survive?" I said, "Well, Bishop, I don't know, man. We going to pray." He said, "No, Doc, I'm going to help you." Man, his church goes live on IG, on everything.
Jeez.
And he gets on there and he says, "We've been praying as a church." He said, "In EBC," he said, we decided that we're going to give $200,000 to Pastor John to Victory Bible so that they can survive this storm."
Jesus.
So to answer your question, how do we survive? God.
Mm-hmm.
like literally, if it wasn't for stuff like that, we have other pastors. I mean, I start getting calls from white Presbyterian pastors who don't know who I am, never talked to me. Said, "I heard about you." Then I got a call from the 4 biggest um, churches, some of the biggest churches in our area. So that's like Eastside, Mariners Church, Saddleback, and Shepherd of the Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Those 4 churches called me and was like, "Listen, we coming. Tell us what you need." And they literally start coming in and paying for
Jesus.
and helping us with everything. Um, God has been doing things
Mm-hmm.
that I could not ever imagine.
And he said,
Wow.
if my people, he said, well, one could put 1,000 flight two. We were just talking
We're
about
just
that
talking about that.
this morning, but I want to just continue to lean back on the fact that the preparation was done years in advance, and people have reached out to you all over the world because of the integrity that the church has always stood for.
Especially
And
during this time, because there's a
exactly.
lot of shisty people that would pray and take advantage of people when they're at their lowest,
Mm-hmm.
like now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of predatory practices in our city, and that's one of the things that has been really irritating me. There's so many people trying to come up
Mm-hmm.
and not really considering the people.
Yeah.
And that's just been something that's been weighing on me. But we've been fighting through that, and we also been calling some folks out because we don't want people taking advantage of our folks.
That's right.
So that's what we've been doing.
Well, we're gonna do it like this, okay? You have the platform. Tell us what you need us to do. How do we
Yeah.
support? Again, y'all, this is Pastor Jon DeCuir. This is family. This is Robert's biological cousin. You know what I'm saying? He my cousin through osmosis.
He's my producer. He's my producer.
Yeah. And so tell us what we need to do, how we can support you, and all of that stuff, and anything
Yeah.
you want to talk about.
Well, two things. First, we have a website. It's called Holdina. So I believe it's holdina.org. I believe it's that.
So you're gonna have to spell it so my dyslexia don't get in the way.
Yeah. I wanted you to check it too. So Holdina. So HOLD
HOLD.
HOLD hold.
and then Dina DENA.
Uh-huh.
.org. There you'll see all the information about our organization. I'm gonna check that, make sure that's right. I believe it's right. And to make sure that's right. But anyway, Holdina, that has all of our events, the way people can support, how what we're doing. It gives a total like background of this is how we're doing it, this is what we're doing, and all roads lead, Dr. LT, to April the 26th.
Come on through, church.
We are doing a memorial, a actual big concert at Memorial Park in the center of the city. And we have over 200 vendors already confirmed. And we presently we're working with a large production company that did Dave Chappelle's Block Party. They've come on to support us on this, and so we'll have a lot of major artists. Of course, Andrew will be performing, but there'll be a lot of different artists, gospel also, and the illustrious Earl Dean is supposed to be announcing some guests on the stage. So we'll have some gospel, we'll have some R&B, we'll have some of everybody. So people are like Afion Crockett. We've had a whole lot of people come. Wow. Through there. Dave Chappelle actually came through to one, y'all know Brandon Lamar. Mm-hmm. Brandon is one of the pastors at our church. He did a whole resource thing that we supported. And Dave Chappelle came and volunteered for 3 hours. Martin Lawrence came.
At your church?
To another location that we were supporting. Brandon put on a whole thing where we were giving items, like a drive-through resource thing where people can come in and get water, Pampers, that kind of stuff. And Dave Chappelle showed up and volunteered for 3 hours. And so we've had a lot of people that were in these efforts that's actually coming to this event. This lady named Caitlin, she came and she volunteered at our church for two weeks. We didn't know who she was. Next thing she said, "Hey, I'm gonna be on Entertainment Tonight." We said, "Oh, okay." That she said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be talking to you guys. I adopted you guys as my church, my other church." She said, "I go to this Catholic church, but she said I feel like this is my church." I said, "Well, we welcome you, right?" So we just were talking to her. She literally was on. We didn't know who she was. So finally, we all went on Entertainment Tonight because we were like, "Is something wrong with her?" We go on there, and she actually is on Entertainment Tonight. It's John Stamos' wife, and we didn't know it.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
So John Stamos probably will be there. So we end up doing an event. I just did an event for her. She did a big thing in our city to help folks, and John Stamos was the person interviewing us on a panel. And I was sitting there like, man, I can't make this stuff up.
Well,
his mother would be going crazy now.
Pastor DeCuir, now I don't normally offer this, but if you need Leonard and the Leonardettes, to come out of retirement,
no, we need you to pray.
And I'll have we're gonna do fire red LeMay soup. If you need us to come out, I will put our differences to the side. And we'll come on out there and give you we can't give you a beat selection. because we can't be on stage that long. But
You give him an A minus, A
That's
minus
hilarious.
selection.
man, it's gonna be amazing. So the website that we put up, we checked it. It does go all the way through. All the information that's coming up for the 26th is on there. Am I right?
Yep,
And
everything is
then
there.
and if they can't make it, they can still start giving now.
Yep, they can start giving now, and it's a donate button right on that thing. It says donate now.
All right. Well, again, this is family, and the kingdom of God is a massive. We're all over it, and when things like this happen, the kingdom citizens come together, and we're seeing it live and in living color right there in Pasadena with Pastor Jon DeCuir, his whole entire team. Pastor DeCuir, we love you, and
Man, I love y'all, man. I
you
love
know,
y'all a lot. We're
and
gonna be repping. We're gonna be repping God ready on April 26th. They gonna know.
Now I have a question because
Yeah.
many people may not know the name Eaton and what it stands for because they gave so much attention to the other place, the Palisades.
Yeah.
Let's explain to them what the Eaton is. I know what it is, but people need to know the Eden fires. What made that name stand out?
let's
Yeah.
get back to
The,
Eden, living on top of the world.
That's
Okay.
Eden. This is
Yeah.
Eaton.
Okay, I just want to
Eaton.
see. Praise the Lord. Go ahead.
yeah, that's funny. So no, Eaton is the Eaton Canyon, right? So we have an Eaton Canyon that's on the east side of town, but it's in the upper east side, and that's where people go there to hike. So the what's being said is that the fire was started there in that space, but the part that people don't realize is that so technically it was on the east side, but there was 80 to 100-mile-an-hour wind that blew it
Wow.
out to the west side.
Wow.
So it was the wind that caused. So the wind caused embers to fly. We even had embers at the church. So we had a whole Armenian church burned down that was down the street from us. And the embers, when we went to go look at the embers, they were on our church, and we would just kind of get them away from the church. The embers didn't burn our church,
Wow.
but literally those embers were almost like fireballs,
Yeah.
like little bombs that was bombing houses and all that kind of thing. And so it was literally blowing 80 to 100 miles an hour to Altadena, to the east side of Altadena, man, and just from Eden Canyon. That's why they call it the Eden Fires.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so
Man.
Pastor DeCuir, one of the things that we want to do, if you can send GOD Radio the flyers and everything so that we can start promoting it, we definitely need
Yep.
you to come back at least on the week before or the week of so that we can re-galvanize people and let them know that we're all roads are going to be leading there. I know Robert Earl Dean is going to be there representing, but I think many other people would like to come in and volunteer and to do the
Yeah.
things. And so if we can just make this a part of our mission to continue to support you, and you keep checking in or coming back on so that we can make sure that all is going to be well. I think that it will truly be a blessing, not only to us and our listeners around the world, but also for them to know that the kingdom citizens are representing and they're not waiting for the government to step in.
Right.
That we're literally supporting one another.
100%. And what I'll do, man, I'm telling you, I'll try to see if I can get somebody to come with me. I won't tell you who, but I'll try to see if she'll wake up and come on with me. So then that'll be good. We can get some other folks talking about it. So yeah, for sure, I'll for sure will do that.
Amen. Any final words, Robert, Pastor DeCuir?
No, you have anything musical, or is everything just focused on restoration?
No, we definitely have some musical things happening. We did a song. It's called "It's Just a Moment," and we are. Did y'all ever get that? What is
We,
that
we
crazy?
we weren't serviced it yet. I think I heard it at the concert, right?
Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me see if I can. Let me see. See if you pull it up. If you pull up, "It's Just a Moment," Jon DeCuir. See if it comes up. Um, that's the latest song that's out, and I feel like I feel like it's a good song, Earl. I feel
Oh,
like it's a good
I think I
song.
heard it at the concert. It was a
I
great
got
song.
um I got Raven and Candace Lacey singing
Hmm.
lead on this one.
Yep.
And did it pop up, Dr. LT? I see you looking.
I'm looking. I
I think
don't.
I go back to the top because the cover is what, like
Actually, no,
plain.
It's just playing. Yeah, it
And
just
it
says
says
Okay,
just a moment. That's
I
it.
see it. I
Because
see
I
it.
remember
yeah.
it. We got it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay.
we gonna get it right now, because then we
Okay.
gonna end
So
off the
yeah,
whole entire show with that.
yeah.
Um,
That's the space that we in right now, man. And this is that song also is prophetic. We wrote that song October of last year. Didn't know what we were talking about.
Wow. But that's how God works in these last and evil
Yeah.
days. He's showing
Mhm.
signs and wonders. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
We've prayed and talked about it. He's showing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for always coming through for me, man. Like y'all always do. And I appreciate it. And congratulations to all the awards, Dr. LT, yours, and nominations for the on Cuzzo. And I mean, y'all deserve everything y'all get. And happy belated birthday, Dr. LT. You thought I forgot? I didn't forget. It was yesterday. And happy birthday, man.
Thank you so much. And as always, Pastor, we're just godly proud of you and how you have consistently been who you are. And when we first, the funny thing is when we first connected, uh, it was at a BET announcement, and the keyboard stand broken. We was holding the keyboard while you
It's
was
crazy.
playing it, and not
You was
knowing
serving,
that.
Dr. T. You always
Yeah,
serve.
not knowing that God was going to make us kindred and brothers and everything else. And so I'm just excited about what God is doing. And thank you for being the pastor, to our homegirl from San Diego, who she just loves her pastor. And not only does she love her pastor, but every time she can take her pastor with her, she said, "Come on, get on the keyboard with me. I need
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. So,
But it's always a blessing when we see people build a relationship with God at the next level while God is blessing them
yeah.
to
Right.
do great works. He also then recenters them to know that they can't do anything without Him. And that's the
100%.
blessing.
Yes.
And
Yep.
he's love. And one thing I like about him, and I always tell him, he's the younger Charles Blake in movement. That he has so many different parts, like
Yeah.
recording artists that are not gospel. He has actors and actresses, and they feel comfortable. See, people like that have to feel like they're loved, they can be themselves, and they can chill out. They feel that around him, and I think that's very, very important in the time that we live in, because people are seeking God, but they want to be able to go to a place that really lives what they preach about and that they love you unconditional.
And I got to ask this, if you can share this. Could you share the testimony of your church member that was in a movie and she had to pray? And she literally, it was no more acting when she prayed. Could you share that little story real quick?
Oh no, yeah, for sure. I mean, the last, not this. She just did one that just came out called exhibiting forgiveness. That one was a great movie, but it wasn't that one. It was the one before that one. Everybody
Deliverance,
was making
deliverance.
deliverance, and Andrew was doing that one, and there was a prayer scene, and she had called, and she said, "Hey man," she said, "I'm gonna pray for real." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, why not?" And people don't know this, but Andrew is filled with the Holy Ghost, and so she started in the show. She started praying for real, and they were like, she started speaking in tongues, and then they were like, are we gonna keep this? And they said keep it rolling, and even after they said cut, the presence of God had hit the space. Andrew was gone, still speaking in tongues. People. That's why I try to tell people that you gotta know when you're saying stuff about people, you gotta
Yep.
know what you're saying,
Come on.
because sometimes people say stuff and you don't know what you're talking about,
Right.
But like Andrea, when she's in town, we have prayer every Saturday night with a group of people. She don't miss prayer. She there with everybody else praying. She there just like everybody else.
Hmm.
So
Amen.
that's the kind of person she is. So,
Amen.
but yeah, man, she prays, Doc, for sure. That's for sure.
And that's just a testimony. And we're
It's a
seeing this
testimony.
more and more and more, that they're just not they're saying that they love God, but they're literally living the life, the walk, and taking them everywhere they go.
That's
So,
right.
Pastor, again, thank you so much. Again, please send us the information so we can share,
Yeah,
and then let's tap in again before the major event. As many times as you want to. Let's tap in and let's make
yeah.
sure that people know about it. All right?
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cuzzo.
Thank you.
All
We
right.
appreciate
So
you.
we're gonna end off the show today with this news track by Pastor Jon DeCuir. It's called "Just a Moment," right here on GOD Radio 1.
.com.